Pico. You're watching Thorin's YouTube.
By the way, since you are known for your versatility in terms of like role and agent you pick, a question I have is, I remember during that brief period when, funnily enough, obviously Optic used it, when Neon became relevant and people were picking it, it seemed like you were one of the people. I heard you do an interview where it's almost implied like you didn't even need much practice time. You just used it in a scrim or two, and then you could just start playing with it in officials. Was that specific to Neon? Are you like that with agents in general? Can you just pick one up if it seems like it's powerful? Do you not need to put in loads of hours? What's it like for you?
What I said there right now maybe not that true, or I think I need to explain it properly. Just because how it works for me. I think when I'm changing to absolutely new different agent, I just sometimes see how people played before. I just remember it, and also I just don't care if I'll kind of fuck up. Like I don't care if I will do a mistake or something. I just instantly come to another round with correcting it or trying to change it a little bit. And also I have a very good individual skill. Like I'm able to carry the stuff not only because of utility, but also just how I am moving, or like how I'm aiming, and that's also helps me. Just if I want, I can just do heads, and people will scream, "Oh my god, he's so good on this agent!" But I actually did nothing on it. Yeah, I just killed everyone, and that's it. And everything, just all this stuff, just helps me like to be versatile. Just because I'm not losing my performance after changing the role, I'm still doing the same stuff, and yeah. And also, like, yeah, I can also learn very fast about the new agent. But it's not like it's so crazily hard. I believe some people overthink it. Or maybe I'm underrating my skills or abilities to actually learn something new. It's maybe actually that, because I believe that I'm also a fast learner. Like I actually learn really fast. Like even in school, like I was actually missing a lot of school lessons, and I was still coming with the good grades.
Right, okay.
To the point that I don't know, like I almost did nothing, but I was still learning. I was still getting good grades, and that was weird. But and I think that also transferred to esports, just because like I'm coming to a new agent. Like you need to play deadlock. You have 1 million setups, 1 million lineups. And I have to do it in one day, and at the end of the day, I'm fully ready to play to the match. And yeah, I think it's also true, but I don't think it's just like only one or two pracs. I think it's right now at this point you have to be more than basic. You have to be more advanced in your preparation, and that's not just like 1 or 2 games.
Now I see why, when I referenced earlier that thing you said in the interview about the different mentalities you have, like the 2 mindsets that you go between. I can sort of see what you're saying now, because on the one hand, it sounds like part of the reason you're able to be innovative and versatile is you have an open mindset, like you're willing to make a mistake early on. But I notice also people can tell from the way you keep framing things, like I wasn't even that good, but it looked like I was good. It sounds like you also have a very high like expectation, though, like you want to play at an extremely high level and be extremely good. You don't just want to just be okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when I'm comparing myself to the previous years, I obviously know that I'm definitely better than before, just because otherwise I wouldn't be here. That's not the way I'm in competitive. Like when I believe that I'm not improving, or I'm not doing it right, or I'm changing it, or I'm stopping it. And like I'm not the guy who wants just to sit and do nothing and get my salary, for example, like paycheck stealers. But and also, like I just want to improve. I always want to be one of the best, and it's not like I want to be the best player in the world, and it like ruins my mind again just because like I just know what I have to do to be the best, or what I have to do to be happy with it, like what I need to do for my team so they will be happy about me and what I do in my team. And I just do that, and that's not really that complicated. complicated, but it's still very hard because like amount of job I have to do sometimes it's above normal in compared to other esports players. And if you just say to maybe another players that just like normal players, not like esports players, it's just like abnormal. Right now, I think in FNATIC we are practicing for 12, 13 hours overall
wow.
as it, and it's just like a lot.
Yeah.
We, as I said before, like we are sacrificing a lot of stuff right now to perform very good. And yes, we are succeeding with that, but again, at what cost sometimes? I don't care, to be honest. I actually don't care because I believe that I will have enough time to do like in real stuff after that, or I believe also that I'm doing a good job with keeping my health up. Just I'm not really gaining that much weight, or I have some problems with my muscles, for example, with my wrists, because I also do some practice with that. I even like, for example, bought power ball to
Sure, to working out all the muscles and stuff.
work on. Yeah, it's just like I'm always curious about
Right.
all this stuff, and it's just like again a lot of job to have to be done, and that's for one of these goals, like to just win champions right now, and yeah. I mean, I actually have nothing else to say. Maybe I will continue to the topic to like how it's challenging right now to be on this level.
Yeah.
Just because, again, if you'll see FNATIC right now, everyone says we lost our best player. We came from a very bad tournament for us. We lost 2 games, like we didn't win a single one, and we lost one pretty badly. But at the same time, I would say it's a very good challenge. I mean, when I knew that it's gonna happen, I actually even gained additional motivation. I have a lot of motivation, overall. I just have some insane amount of motivation. I don't have to be be motivated like, oh, I need to do that, or like, oh my god, I already won a lot of stuff, so I don't have to be motivated. No, I mean, I don't know, like maybe just like my passion to be competitive makes me so motivated to improve. But also, like when I had this challenge, like we have to play with the stand-in, or actually now our 6th player. We have to go through maybe one of the hardest opponents also, because at that point we didn't know how good BBL or
Sure.
Chronicle or
Yeah.
Vitality or Liquid are, because all of them didn't qualify to Masters Shanghai. They had a lot of time to actually prepare for the tournament, and everything was super challenging. And at the start the start of it was also not the best one, as I will say. So it was a big shit of a challenge, but how good the thing is that we almost completed it. Like at the point of recording this stuff, we probably already qualified to champions. The chance of it is literally like 0.01, because the way how we can't qualify is ridiculous. And I think it's a big success for us, because it means that we still can show to everyone that even even when we are struggling, we are still can be one of the best. And with this mentality, with this confidence, we just go to other matches, for example.
When I did my interview with Derke, one thing I actually think maybe some people aren't as aware of, because in the modern day in esports, we just use the alias. We don't look at people's names, right? Obviously, he always has that Finnish flag next to his name. But if you just look up his real name, guys, you'll immediately realize he indeed has Russian ethnicity. And he told me he can absolutely speak Russian, and he used to even play with Russian players back in the day. And he said he did know you before, like when he first came into Valorant, and you were one of the people that he was aware of. So when you came to join FNATIC, was there already for you an existing connection there? What did you think of Derke before you played with him?
Really wanted to play with him because I knew, obviously from a distance, he's a very good duelist player. At that point, I was thinking he was literally one of the few carries in their team. He was just simply carrying this team off. At some point, I was believing if he will be in our team, Champs 21, we could win it maybe.
Right.
But it's obviously impossible. It was impossible at that point. But still, I was thinking he's a very good player, and I was happy to actually play with him and support him, because that will be an interesting synergy in the team. and I think it worked well at the end.
Right. Since I asked you earlier about Redgar, I imagine Boaster must be a different type of leader because people know his personality is very unique, right? Who is this guy?
Oh, I mean, it's actually hard to say because I believe the way how Redgar and Boaster IJling is absolutely two different dimensions, and it's hard to compare or hard to explain. You have to play with him in his team to actually understand it. So shortly, Maximum will say very unusual, uh, very exotic. I would say very exotic. That maybe that's one of the words which suits him the best. Just very exotic.
Is he someone who likes to call a lot on the fly? Is he like a mid-round type of caller? Does he like to work with the playbook and what the coach designed? Which is his preference, would you say?
It's not like he is doing a lot of adaptation mid-round, but he loves to change the way of how we are playing the round in the middle of the round.
Right.
But it's not like it's changes that crazy. It's just based on what happens with the map, like how the defaults always work. I don't think it goes in that way crazy, but he obviously can mid-call or do some unusual mid-call rounds. But it's not that often.
When you came to FNATIC, and obviously the first tournament was that lock-in where you went all the way to Brazil, you played for all the fans, etc. It'd been a while. Like, I mean, technically on paper, you only ever won one LAN in Gambit because you didn't win champions. Was it a big deal to be a champion again, to be on the stage and be the one number one after that year in M3C?
I felt very great. I mean, everyone was also hyping up this tournament just because there were like 100% chance that some of the teams, someone in the tournament will become a two-time champ.
Oh, yeah,
and that
true.
that was a competition of two actual teams who were both like winning together, and just me. And that was an interesting challenge too, just because if I will win it, I will just become the only two-time. And at the end, if we will start to win more and more and more, I will be the only one who will win more.
Okay, you'll always be one ahead, basically, right? Yes.
For me, it was just like a fun stuff. Like
Sure.
I don't really care about it, but it was still funny to see how everyone reacts to it, or like just the way how I hold this title of being the most titled player in the world. And at the end, when we just won lock-in, it just became a thing that everyone was just starting to hype me up very hard, just because like I just won I'm the first one who won 2 trophies.
Okay.
And it was very good.
Along those lines, then, let me ask this question. When you were when the team was doing badly at the end of the Gambit M3C period, when you lose, it's easy to also just think, maybe I'm playing bad too. Maybe something in my game's off. When you win in FNATIC, basically, do you look back? Were you someone in M3C? Were you also playing worse? Were you still good, but the team was just worse? Did winning in FNATIC sort of prove you were good all along? What do you think?
I think, looking back 2022, I would say obviously there's definitely my fault in in our bad year, because obviously like we lose as a team and everyone is at fault. Maybe someone could do like better than that. But at the same time, I believe that I did a lot of stuff to actually be on a good level, because I had to swap the roles like mid-season, and I had to do a lot of stuff. And looking at the way how I performed, I obviously had some flaws, and I could do much better. But I believe I almost did as much job as possible to be on a very good level. And if I had much more time, the outcome maybe could be different also. But it's hard to say, because, again, it's just about internal stuff, which I don't really want to spread, at least for now.
Okay.
And I believe, again, that I didn't do the best job, obviously. But I believe I did the best job maybe in the team.
Right. Since obviously FNATIC went on to win the VCT Tokyo, but before that you had the EMEA finals where you'd already gotten to the final and beaten Liquid in the upper bracket, and then in the final, the grand final, they beat you. Some people will speculate like maybe FNATIC was taking it easy in the final or experimenting, or who cares, they were already at the VCT anyway. Did Team Liquid, were they actually better than you in the EMEA final, do you think? Were they just the better team?
First of all,
go on.
First of all, the opposite were better because we lost. Same goes with Ascent. Even though I think that we could easily win champs, and I believe we deserve it more, they still won it, and they were better that day.
Fair enough.
But okay, coming back to the VCT EMEA, I mean, again, they were better. Plus, we had a lot of stuff that was going through. We were kind of sick. I was sick, and
Right.
Derke was kind of sick. Plus, we had some inside stuff, which kind of ruined our game plan against Team Liquid at that point. And we started to play much more passive, and we actually weren't taking the advantage of almost every situation we did. And that was very bad. We couldn't actually win the game with this game plan, and we just ruined the game for ourselves. And yeah, I don't think there was anything else. All the speculations were untrue because everyone, even after this loss, we knew that it's just like one loss and it doesn't really matter. We will come to Masters Tokyo and we will destroy everyone no matter what, because we know that our form is still very good. We showed in Europe that no one is even close to us. Even Liquid that they won. Okay, I mean, congrats to them. They won this day, but next day they will lose.
Yes.
Like I just know it. Like, and the tournament proved that they lost to EG, and after that they lost to Energy. And I mean, that's not a good score, because like we were just smashing Energy. I think I don't remember like this. I mean, I remember we were just destroying Energy every time we met them. And maybe it's just like my aura, because like every time I meet Optic, Enemy, Energy,
sure.
I'm just destroying the score.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like I don't think they were that great, and we lost because we weren't that great that day, and they were good that day.
Because I wanted to ask about Team Liquid, because obviously they had two of your ex-teammates. They had Redgar and Nats in their team. And at the time, I remember when they announced that squad, some people were quite hyped, actually. It was quite an interesting team. They had Safe as well. They had a bunch of big names. Obviously, they still had Yampy, right? This team, basically, their only claim to fame that year is winning this EMEA. Aside from that, like, as you say, like, when they went to the big lands, they weren't able to perform to the same degree, right? Essentially, the question is, overall, how good was Team Liquid? And since you had some former teammates there, do you think they were able to get the most out of those players? Was there some flaw to the team, do you think?
I believe they are not that great. I don't know. I had some weird feeling from the start when they just like build up, like their roster. I felt something will go wrong, and something did go wrong. And I think most of the issues right now the Valorant have at this day, I think, is a management and how people are building rosters. Because some people feels like are clueless, or they actually don't understand how to manage the team. Like they're doing some fundamental mistakes, and they're just trolling this. And I don't really understand like how it's still going on, how they're on the same positions, for example, and over again. It's just like I see the failures of many rosters like every single year, and nothing is changing. They're still building the same rosters with the same mistakes. Like in Liquid, you could look, there's like I don't know. I mean, again, it's just like from my perspective, just purely looking on their like a roster, it feels like, yeah, they have pretty much good balance of individuals and like very good brains. But I feel like just from knowing these people, they will not be really good as teammates. Like
right.
they're mentally not ready to play with each other, and it's not just working. Sometimes I feel the way that, again, how people are building the rosters, they're just instantly signing a player, and that's it. I mean, they're not even tasting it. They're not even trying to understand. Will he be good? Like, or like, I mean,
Right.
even when they have like conversations with each other, like when they're trying to understand, will he suit the team? Like, it feels like they're not understanding. Will he actually suit the team or not? Because again, like Liquid right now happened. Everyone thought it's a top 3 team, and at the end they didn't succeed in almost everything. Yeah, they won EMEA finals, but it's not an achievement at all. Same as us right now winning this year EMEA. It's not. I don't think it's a big of achievement. And yeah, I just think that's purely on management rather than on players, because individually all players are great in some way. Like and they can be very good for some teams, for example. But in Liquid's scenario, it was just a mess.
What do you think of playing? Because obviously you've had to play them some key matches. What do you think of Paper X? What does this team like to play against?
That's the hardest one, just because everyone knows their play style, everyone knows how they play, and I think at some point it will be a hard time for them at all, because right now they're using advantage of Pacific League, since I think Pacific League is not the strongest region. They have Gen.G and obviously PaperX. Gen.G is very strong. I believe that they're a very good team. PaperX is also strong. But other teams, I don't think they're contenders, like, just in almost everything. I believe they're good individuals, but they're still not ready to perform better as a team. Like, they're all individually good, but they still didn't find a way to be better as a team. And PaperX, like, the best individual team. But as a team, I think at some point it will not be enough to do everything on 5. Sometimes it will be very hard. It's a skill that really matters right now at this stage of Valorant. Like you can see many teams are actually trying to play very unusual. Everyone does some like risky moves, doing risky stuff, and PaperX are like having the best meta for that, I would say. Like they just literally have the best time for actually winning the tournaments and stuff, but they're still not succeeding. And maybe there are some other problems that's happening. Maybe because their style is way too complicated to actually play like that. Because playing always aggressive, always on improvising is hard. But that's purely from my perspective, because I think that it might be like the thing that I'm actually wrong, and maybe they're like not fully improvising, and but I believe they're actually doing like that, because at least when I was speaking with something, and we were like talking about his team, like it felt like I'm kind of right in that way. That again, like if people start to shoot better than them, they'll definitely will probably lose.
Right.
There's like what some people were talking to him and what he said to me, and I said maybe in some way, but I still believe that they're pretty much smart to also play not only individual but also like their brain. But I mean, this tournament Shanghai was just kind of bad for them. Also, it's just like if you look at them, everyone was hyping them so hard. Everyone was thinking they're gonna win the tournament after they just lost 5th, 6th place, and that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. No one right now. No one believes in them, because I saw the reaction on it, and actually, I saw people stop believing into them. Like obviously there are some fans that still rooting for this, still cheering, but it's not like that hype that fucking hell they're gonna destroy everyone this tournament. So probably it might be like the end of this era of PaperX, like being a very aggressive, very hard readable team.
Right, being as basically the tournament where the world really got to know how good Evil Geniuses was the one you won. It was obviously the Tokyo event, right? What was it like? Did you actually know from, I don't know, internal scrims at the event or something? Did you have a sense before you played them how good this team was going to be? Because I actually heard that in the community, a lot of people actually thought they'd like fluked the North American League and that they weren't actually that good, or maybe, you know, again, like NRG was just like, and Loud were just chilling or whatever, you know. Like, did you actually know how good EG was going to be? Was it a surprise to you?
I don't think it was a very big surprise. I think when you're building your roster, like out of actual perspective players, not just like only star players or the ones, as I said, who came from other disciplines. I mean, when you have a proper balance of it, the roster will definitely succeed.
Right.
Otherwise, there is something wrong with maybe coaching staff or management. As I said previously about maybe Liquid and other teams particularly. But yeah, I just felt like they're pretty good. And I felt like, especially like just looking at this year and the previous one, EG knew how to use Demon One in the roster. Like they knew how to properly use his skills, and he was actually making a difference for them. Joe Gamma was one of the best players, and it's still weird that no one can notice how good he is. And I hope next year, or like probably next year, people will actually understand that he's a very strong player. He's a very good initiator. He's a very good support. Yes, right now he's struggling in Leviathan, but I don't think it's purely his issue. Boaster is a very interesting leader. I'm not sure how good he is because I didn't play with him, and I can't criticize him or say that he is the best agile in the world. But I do believe that if they succeed, if they won champions, he was definitely part of the reason why they won. And yeah, in Ethan, he is obviously like the most experienced one. He played so much. He came from CS. He was good there. He's still good here. And I just have nothing else to say about him. He also won against me in 2021 when he was in the
sure.
Feast
Right.
roster. And like I have no bad feelings about it. I mean, he is a good player. And I mean, everything was kind of stuck for them.
Right, go on then.
Yep.
The problem is, for the champions this year, familiar story like with Gambit, FNATIC was supposed to win. Everyone was like, right, it's FNATIC's tournament to win. They're going to win and be like the greatest year ever and complete it all that. What happened? What happened at champions?
I think we were stagnating as a team just because when you are winning a lot of stuff, again, some weak mentality comes in and ruins the process of actually improving. People forgetting that everyone trying to keep up with you, everyone is looking at you. They're trying to improve as much as possible. And that's where the stagnation comes because you think that you're so good, no one can win you. And you don't have to practice that hard and you can take a rest. And that's what was also bad. Also, I think there were some small meta changes which slightly ruined our game style, but it didn't matter. Also, individually, we were not that great. People were saying that was one of the worst tournaments for me, and I agree with that. And at the same time, it was very unfair for me too, just because I believe that I did a lot of stuff there, but it just didn't work out. Same in Shanghai, for example. Like, both these tournaments have similar experience for me because I was grinding a lot, I was giving a lot of stuff, I was sacrificing a lot. And at this point, it didn't really give the value, it didn't give me the outcome which I wanted. But yeah, and also like the champs was so annoying because we met twice against the team who was the best like counter against us. Like the Loud was the best counter against us. Their play style, how they play was fully countering us, and we played against them twice. Like we literally met them first time in the upper bracket. What a magic! Like what a surprise! Unbelievable. And after that, we met them in lower. After we did a good run there. And also, what I would notice there, just like to think about, it's about me mostly. I was just thinking always, Loud were countering us so fucking hard, and I was performing not that great there. But when every other match was coming in, I was the top stat, and that's also annoying. Like again, that's some parts of me being delusional, I would say. But when I think that like there is only one team that counters maybe me or maybe my team as a like whole, and against any other opponent, I don't feel any problems. Like I can play on the same level. It's just kind of unfair. I don't know. Like we just met them twice, and I couldn't show myself properly. In Shanghai, it was quite different but the reasons why we were bad there was also different. So yeah, it's just I think in champs it was our mentality was pretty bad. We weren't ready to play. We also got the hardest opponent against us. And actually I will add maybe one more. It just yeah, we were also tired. I think the schedule of both these years is very hard. Like, if we'll do a comparison to CS, obviously you have a lot of tournaments to play in CS. That's where people think that CS is better than Valorant because of the amount of the tournaments you have. And people think that for some reason, people think that in Valorant, if you don't have tournaments, it's like people are wanking or something.
Oh, you think they just have time off or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're actually understanding like how it works, because if you are not playing the tournament, you're playing the practice.
Right.
And the practice is actually much more harder than playing tournaments.
Oh,
like,
right.
Even in Russian, we have a good phrase like it's hard in learning, but it's easy in fight.
Right.
I don't know how any analogs in English, because I'm obviously not the native speaker of it. But overall, you can understand the point of it.
There's a similar saying, put it this way, there's a saying from boxing that says you sweat in the gym so you don't bleed in the fight. It's a similar concept.
Yeah,
right?
it's literally like that. You always try hard in the scrims. You can't really go other way around. It's always harder than actually just playing official, because when you are in a non-stop rhythm of playing officials, you actually sometimes feel better. Not like we had this year, but actually in CS, where you have some small breaks, like 1 or 2 days, and you have another match. You actually, it's very good rhythm. It's very cool way of schedule. I really like it. And in Valorant, at the same time, you can have as less matches as possible and a lot of practice. And at the same time, in the same tournament, you can have 5 matches in a row. And
Sure.
two of them can be best of 5s.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely inappropriate, I would say. And that's something that should be changed, because that's not healthy. Like, we can see in case, for example, of Leo, we can see right now he's struggling really hard, because we are all, again, it's just, again, comes to sacrificing. We sacrificed a lot to improve. And it came to the point that we lost one of our players because of it. And it's not normal. It's not right. It should be better. And Riot should kind of work on it much more than they did before. Because this season felt like they did almost 0 changes. They just swapped one tournament, like they lock in for Masters, how it should be. Slightly changed it to 2 splits, and that's it. Nothing else. I mean, later the schedule is the same. We have the champions at August, and after that we have another like 5 months of a season, which is not really necessary for almost every team in the franchise. And yeah, it's bad. Again, when I have to practice for 7 months straight with almost 0 proper breaks, and having a 5-month break after that, I feel like it's just hard to improve. Hard
It's
to
just silly,
actually.
isn't it? Yeah.
It feels silly.
Yeah. Like, what about this? Would be an appropriate moment for me to ask you about Leo, since obviously he's not playing at the moment, right? This is a player where I understand why you're upset, because this guy was probably the best in his role last year. Like, he was fantastic, right? Who is Leo?
Leo is a very good professional. He also came from sports. He was a football player, and that's where kind of our stuff, like me and his one, is quite similar. We are both professionals at what we do. Like, we are both disciplined, and we are not trying to. Like, we are always trying our best in the training process. He also have a very strict routine. He is always strict to himself. He have high expectations, and he's very competitive. So, like, he that's why he's one of the best players, obviously. Like, because how good he is as a professional. And yeah, that's I actually have nothing else to say, because just the performance speaks for him. He is very good.
Right, as you mentioned, when you were at the Shanghai event, obviously it's another event that wasn't that great, right? The team I do want to ask him was, you obviously played the team again that ended up winning the event, a bit like champions. You obviously played against Gen.G, right? I know most people, because of how the regions are set up, couldn't know that this was the best team. Is that the best team in Valorant to you? Do you think they earned the title?
Yeah, they were, I think at that point they won the tournament. They was the best team. I will try to explain why I said exactly like that. It's just simply because I believe that at one day you can be the best best team in the world, and the next day you can't, because you already don't know. It's actually a right mentality to also improve, just because like that's what I was thinking after winning Masters Berlin. Just because how everything sometimes is random in such games. Like even in CS, you will think about like just 1 millisecond away or not. And for example, maybe not Vitality will win the major in 2023, but actually Gamer Legion.
Right.
Same goes for
Yeah.
Copenhagen. Just one round away, and maybe Spirit would win against FaZe, and Spirit would win the major, not Navi. And same goes for Valorant. Like if we could win one more round against Gen.G, we would win the game, and maybe we will be top 2 or top 1 in the tournament. That's it. Like, I mean, it's just so crazy to think about how inconsistent sometimes the games are in both disciplines. Even in the one that is kind of more not that much versatile, not that much variable, like as Valorant. Even there, like you can feel the difference of kind of luck. I would say it's not even luck. I wouldn't say it's luck, because luck favors the best, luck favors the strongest. Like only the strongest can use the luck in a proper way. But other than that, it's still weird, because if you look at the results of Gen.G, it's like 13-10 in our favor, like we won the first match, and after 11-13, 11-13, one round away, we are winning.
Yes.
Like I mean, it's just like crazy to think about it. Yes, we had a bad match against Food, but I felt like there was again different reasons. It's just like everything about Shanghai tournament comes to this match against Food, like where our problems came in. But on Gen.G match, we were actually playing very good. There were some unlucky moments where we didn't like win obviously the game, but people are not understanding that. I think we literally just did the hardest competition for them even. Like if I remember the results against 100 Fierce, they did 10-13, 10-14, which is obviously almost on the same level.
Yeah.
But again, one round away from us. They played against Heretics in grand finals. They, after like losing 2 maps to them, they just smashed it. They just absolutely smashed it. They played against G2. They didn't feel them also. And I mean, you just think about it.
In theory, your series was the closest one, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, people think after that we are bad. And imagine, we had the guy who was struggling with mental health. He wasn't performing the best.
Sure.
We have the players who have some like internal issues, and we are still almost on the same level as the one who won the tournament. People sometimes maybe underrate us in the community or think that we fell off, but I feel we are not. We're actually not. And like this time is this tournament for us is also like the chance to prove that, like, yeah, we lost our best player, but we still have 4 other best players, and we also can show that we can also prove we have also our best 6th player. We have a hero who is also very good, and that's our challenge right now.
To ask you a bit about Alfajer, so I can ask about the main FNATIC squad, I would say it this way, Chronicle. One of the things I think has actually shocked a lot of people about that FNATIC squad last year is people in this game, it is a bit like Counter-Strike. People tend to just obsess over star players, and they want there to be like a Simple or a Zero who's put up the numbers every time, and they can just say it's because of him that they win. I noticed in your team, the thing that impressed people was FNATIC was not just the top team, but stats-wise, there would be like 3 or 4 of you would be in like the top 10 or 15 of the stats. And so, and in terms of Alfajer, I would say again, it's a bit like you said earlier about people from different roles having all these amazing stats. Like you normally wouldn't expect someone who's like a Killjoy player to have as many big games as this guy does. Like he seems like he's one of the absolute best players just in the entire game of Valorant. Who is Alfajer to you?
Alfajer is a very good individual. I don't know what's the proper word for him to explain. He's Um, if it's the right explanation, he's like Brazilian. I would say he is very passionate. He's very, very emotional,
Right.
and he's very good. I mean, emotional in a good way, I'd say. Um, his individual obviously carried some games for us. Like I can't deny that. And also, I think about the roles which you mentioned right now. If we will talk about the roles, I think initiator sometimes, or not initiator, sentinel sometimes also feels like suits him the best, just because I mean he can use his aim just to hold his side so good. Because compared to CS, anchors in CS are struggling, but here because of the util which anchors have, it's actually even easier for anchors to get some good stats. And yeah, he can realize Sentinel very well because he can just play some basic setups which will definitely work against most of the teams in the game, and he will just farm them easily. And also, if he feels that setups are not enough, he can just come in, shoot 2 heads easily, and just go back, and we have a big advantage for the round. And yeah, right now he's playing on duelist, like he's playing ISO or Raze. And ISO in the current meta is overpowered as fuck. This guy just can pick up his fucking shield, just swing some guy, be a tank, and after that just easily hit. Like he have so much advantages now, and he can abuse it so well. It's obviously very good for us.
You said earlier that even though people were saying in early 2022, maybe Chronicle's the best player, you think you were better later, or Prime came later on in FNATIC. Well, if you had to pick an event, what would it be? Would it be Tokyo? Would that be the best event of Chronicle? If someone wanted to see who you were, if they watched that event, is that your peak? Was it this year?
But I'm saying about Prime, I don't think that like any tournament could be my actual prime, because I still improve. Like I still do better than before. Sometimes maybe not on the same level as other teams, but I'm still improving. It's just like I can't really properly rate myself in this thing. But I believe maybe Masters Tokyo was the latest one where we won, obviously, and also where I showed the good performance because I was just behind Alfajer. And yeah, I mean, it's also not maybe a great point, because like almost every single tournament I'm playing in the game, I'm always second in the team, like by
Right.
stats. Like it just almost every tournament I'm playing, I'm always second, maximum third. But I don't remember that many tournaments where I was third by stats. If we'll say exactly stats, because right now people comparing with stats, so I'll say that. Just like think about it. 2021 Masters Berlin was Nats first one, and after that me. On Champions it was different, but still people think Nats was also good, so I will count it just for fun. 2022 was a rough year. If we'll go to 2023, lock-in was Leo and me, maybe on the same par with Derke. Master Stock, it was Alpha and me, on the same way with Leo. And Champs was a bad example because I was the worst there.
Right,
And,
sure.
but I mean, yeah, but we lost it, so it's weird. And right now the whole season, it's a very consistent for me. Like I'm top 1 or top 2 by stats if you will take all the tournaments we played. And just yeah, it's just like it's always I'm always the second in the team. But yeah, I'm just trying to think about it. Is it really good or bad? I don't know. It's just like how it is. And I mean, I'm fine with it. If I'm still top scorer in the team, like no matter if I'm first or second, I feel it's a good performance from me. And the Masters Tokyo was the latest one where we won, obviously, and I was pretty happy with that. I even got some MVP from different like we have a VLR as the main source of getting stats, news, but we also have like some other like the Spike GG, which this resource for that I'm MVP of the tournament. They just gave the trophy to me, and I mean, okay, we have different MVPs. by in the opinions of different people, and I'm fine with that.
Of one question that I ask everyone in my interviews in Valorant, and they always give me the same answer, is I always try to ask, like, who is the greatest Valorant player ever? Because I want to know, like, who was the Simple or the Zero or whoever you think's the best. Right now, obviously, people like Monacy and Donk and CS are the best players, right? Everyone always says the same thing, though, because there haven't been that many tournaments. They always go, I don't think you can say who the GOAT is yet. You know, there haven't been enough events, and, you know, maybe 1 year Ye was good, and then Derke was good, and then your Tens was good, and, you know, right? Is there, don't answer it that way. I just want to know for Chronicle. In Chronicle's opinion, who is the best Valorant player you have seen or played with? Who would be your number one pick?
I think it will be Leo. Like, excluding me, obviously, because it will be, again, very delusional and bad. Leo is the best one. I think no one can match with him. Like everyone I know in esports, they are not as good as Leo, just because how smart he is as a guy, how good he is just like unmatchable. Even in CS, like, believe me, you will not find a proper example as Leo. Even in League of Legends, people like think about Faker being the greatest of all time, and I think it's fair. But I think Leo can easily be on the same level with him, even though he didn't achieve that much.
Okay.
Just because how perspective this guy is, and how good he is mentally, professionally, like. He's just like a great addition to almost every team like you could ever imagine. Maybe not the every team, just because like it might be a lie, but I believe that I mean he's my.
You think he's like a super talent?
He's a super talent. He's one of my biggest friends, and I know him a lot. And I feel like compared to any other mentality, even in CS, like he is definitely better than anyone you will say. Trophies doesn't matter. Like I just know that this guy is very good, and probably it's hard to imagine even better.
All right, since you said it would be bad and delusional if I asked you if you were the greatest player of all time, because obviously if you just say that, it will sound rough. I won't ask that. What I'll ask instead is this, Chronicle. When you play the game, though, if you're going into a match, you do believe you're the best, or you can beat everyone, right? Or you can be the best player in the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a funny paper just on our door to the office with Kobe Bryant. Like he was coming to the practice, like he have a lot to learn, and he was coming to the match. He is the best player in the world.
Right.
I mean, I'm not really thinking like that, but I believe that I don't know. I believe that what I do is good. And it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely worth to be said that like I'm one of the best, just because like I believe it's good stuff. What I do, it's a good stuff. Again, I don't really want to rate my skills, and I don't really want to say I'm the best, because I will never be happy with these words, and I just really want to continue what I do. And like after that, maybe in 10 years, people will say who is good or who is bad. But I believe that it shouldn't really affect me, or I should really worry about it, because again, I'm 21. Like I'm very young. I have like a lot of time to prove anyone wrong, or like prove everyone just that I'm bad, for example. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna go, but overall, I have a lot of time, and it's definitely like maybe FNATIC is not my last team, and it's just like how the esports will go, like how the Valorant will go for me. I believe that I have a lot of stuff to learn, and that's why I can't call myself the best player, but I can call other people the best. That's why I call Leo the best, because I know he's definitely better than anyone else.
In these few years you've competed in Valorant, you've won quite a lot of prize money, and I'm guessing from being a FNATIC, you have a pretty good salary too. What do people back home think about this? Do they understand what a big deal it is, and that you're sort of a sports star? Do they get it?
No, I mean, people overthinking it. It's actually not that crazy if you think about it. And overall, right now, I mean, if we talk about money, for example, it's hard to save money for me, just because I mean, there's a lot of stuff like taxes,
Sure.
and so all the stuff. And I mean, I just like obviously I can't say anything about my salary or how.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's gonna be weird to say, but like I have the same problems as any other people have. But at least I'm not a fucking gambling addict or something else. Like it's just
No.
like
I mean more like your family, etc. What do they think? Are they impressed that you're winning money and you're having this very successful career?
Yeah, they're obviously impressed, and for my country especially, and especially for my family, I'm getting obviously like enormous amount of money.
Right.
But like again, it's just like I'm the same person as everyone, and like I have to save a lot of stuff. I'm trying to like find a way how to be better in that, or like just better be better in economics, I'll say. Yeah.
Okay. Right, I've got a few questions at the end that are sort of like quick fire. So I ask for a name, and basically I want a name and give me a reason. So the first one, and by the way, these can be people we've talked about already. It's up to you. So the first one's an easy one. Who is the most skilled player you've ever played with?
Leo.
He's just clearly the best.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I believe he's better.
What about who is the smartest player you've played with?
Nuts. He's smart. He's just smart. Like he doesn't have that like gold like this proper balance like Leo have between individual stuff and like game sense stuff. Like obviously, no, I mean he have a very insane game sense, but I don't think he is as smart as Nuts. But at the same time, he have a very good individual to properly be the best player in the world.
What about who is the most clutch player you've played with?
Myself. But I mean, probably Jake. I would say Jake.
Boaster,
Yeah, Boaster. Boaster is the second clutcher in our team after me. But if I could include myself, I would say me, because sometimes it's just also like it's not a bit quick, but it's related to Gambit. When I say that I was doing some weird ass stuff, that's part of how I can win some clutches, because some people think that I'm doing weird shit. And actually,
so they're like second guessing what you're going to do, or not knowing that you're going to surprise them, right? I see. The enemy has the expectation you will do something weird. You mean? And
also, like, it's just like a balance of me doing weird shit sometimes or smart shit, and very good individual. So yeah, but if it's excluding me, it's definitely Boaster.
What about who is the funniest teammate you've had? Like who makes you laugh?
I think Leo or Alpha. It's both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's both of them.
What about the last one is, who is the best teammate you played? I mean teammate in the sense of like, you know, how they play for the team or being unselfish or so. Who would be the best in that regard, do you think?
Again, probably Leo.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it should be Leo in most of these like questions.
Okay. Well, there's a similar one. Then the last one is just more related. This can be for anyone. It doesn't have to be in your teams if you want, but you can be if you want. Who is the most underrated player? Could be in your team, could be overall. Who was the most underrated for you?
Oh, it's actually a hard question. I don't think everyone in our team is underrated, so I can say maybe. I mean, even Hero right now gets his hype, so it's hard.
Was there a Gambit player you think was underrated?
I will say Kamik from our like previous roster in 2023. He was our sixth player, and I think he is quite underrated. And he is improving really hard. I see his improvement this year, and he is definitely deserved to play in Tier 1 next year.
At the end of this interview, do you have a final message? Do you want to thank anyone or say hello to anyone?
Hello and thank. Okay. But yeah, I mean, everyone who watches it, definitely thank you, because I think it's my first actual long-time interview where I said something about my past properly, but yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's definitely one of the longest interviews also. Again, almost 2 hours. So it's definitely like a big thank you who actually watched it, because I know sometimes it might be crazy. And just, yeah, I mean, just simply thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to all the fans who also cheering and rooting for us right now at the tournaments. Still believe in us, even though we don't have the best times right now. But yeah, it's just like I'm really grateful that you are with us, and just how good everyone you are as a person, and I really wish you to see on the stage at some point.
Большое спасибо.
Большое спасибо.
Everyone needs a support network, and mine is, of course, my Patreon community, the Scrominati, who, in many ways, they're the Sonny to my Cher, saying, I got you, babe. So this video and all the others on my channel were kindly supported by the following names: Ahmed Haju, Mac Pugnaccio Rakula, Adam Tomlin, Animosity, Jensen Go, Tosh, Toucan, and you know it. Jerky's Minion, my main man, always going to be referenced, one of the best patrons of all time. Would you like to ask a question in my AMA? Maybe you want to suggest a topic or a guest to say on my channel? Do you want teasers? Find out who the upcoming Reflections and Talk to Thorin interviews are. Maybe you want to do one of those long discussions where you get to set the topics we talk about. Well, if any of these or others appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is. Join the Scluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box below.